You probably think missiles replaced all the old school guns, right? That's what most people believe. But here's the thing, anti-aircraft artillery is still out there, still firing, and still racking up kills in modern warfare. They're active, they're lethal, and some of them are proving more effective against drones and cruise missiles than weapons that cost 10 times as much. So what makes these guns still relevant when we've got all this high-tech missile technology? The answer is actually pretty simple. Cost and volume of fire. A single burst from a 35mm cannon costs a few $100s. A surface-to-air missile costs anywhere from $50,000 to several million. When you're facing swarms of cheap drones or salvos of rockets, you need something that can throw up a wall of lead without bankrupting your defense budget. That's where these systems come in. 23-2. The Zu-23-2 is a Soviet-era twin-barreled 23mm autocannon that's been around since 1960. This thing fires 23mm rounds at a combined rate of about 2,000 rounds per minute from its two barrels. And the effective range sits around 2.5 kilometers against aircraft, and it can reach targets up to 1.5 kilometers in altitude. The Zu-23-2 was designed to be towed by a truck or jeep and can be set up and ready to fire in under a minute. This system saw heavy use in Vietnam, where North Vietnamese forces used it against American aircraft with devastating effect. It showed up in Afghanistan during the Soviet invasion, throughout the Middle East in conflicts like the Iran-Iraq War and the Lebanese Civil War, and it's currently being used by both sides in the Ukraine conflict. The gun is so simple and reliable that it's been mounted on everything from pickup trucks to boats. Dozens of countries still operate it because the ammunition is cheap and the system almost never breaks down. When it comes to confirmed kills, the Zu-23-2 has downed countless helicopters and low-flying jets over its 6-decade service life, though exact numbers are impossible to pin down because it's been used in so many conflicts. S-60. Moving up in caliber, we've got the S-60, which is a Soviet 57mm anti-aircraft gun that entered service in 1950. This weapon fires 57mm shells at a rate of about 120 rounds per minute and can engage targets out to 6 kilometers horizontally and 4 kilometers in altitude. The S-60 was designed to replace World War II-era 37mm guns, and it came with a sophisticated fire control system that included the SON-9 radar for target tracking. The S-60 became the backbone of North Vietnamese air defenses during the Vietnam War. American pilots learned to respect this gun because its high-velocity rounds could reach altitudes where they thought they were safe from smaller caliber weapons. The system was deployed in batteries of 6 guns linked to a central radar, and this coordination made it extremely effective. Middle Eastern countries used the S-60 extensively in the Six-Day War in 1967 and the Yom Kippur War in 1973. Iraqi forces still had S-60 batteries during the Gulf War in 1991 and the 2003 invasion. The gun proved it could threaten modern aircraft when properly employed, and it's still in service with several countries today because the 57mm round packs serious punch. Bofors 40mm L70. The Bofors 40mm L70 is a Swedish design that evolved from the famous World War II-era 40mm gun. The L70 variant features a longer barrel and fires at rates up to 330 rounds per minute. This system entered service in 1952 and was adopted by NATO countries and allies around the world. The effective range reaches out to about 12 kilometers with radar guidance, and the gun can engage both air and light ground targets. The Bofors L70 saw action in the Middle East during the 1967 and 1973 wars, where Arab forces used it against Israeli aircraft. British forces employed naval versions during the Falklands War in 1982 for close-in defense of ships. The system has been continuously upgraded over the decades with modern fire control systems and programmable ammunition. India recently invested heavily in modernizing its L70 guns with digital fire control and new ammunition types. The gun remains relevant because the 40mm round is large enough to do serious damage. Oerlikon GDF. The Oerlikon GDF is a Swiss-made twin 35mm system that represents the high end of towed anti-aircraft guns. Introduced in the early 60s, the GDF mounts two 35mm autocannons that fire at 550 rounds per minute each. The system typically pairs with the Skyguard radar for all-weather engagement capability. Each 35mm round travels at extremely high velocity and modern ammunition can be programmed to airburst near the target, creating a cloud of tungsten fragments. Argentina used GDF guns during the Falklands War and successfully shot down at least one British Harrier jet while damaging several others. This forced UK pilots to stay at higher altitudes, where they were less effective at supporting ground troops. Iran and Iraq both operated GDF systems during their war in the 1980s. More recently, Pakistan has used GDF guns with HEAD ammunition to counter drone incursions along its borders, reportedly downing dozens of hostile UAVs in 2023 and 2024. The combination of high rate of fire, sophisticated radar, and programmable ammunition keeps the GDF competitive against modern threats. ZSU-23-2. Built on a modified T-54 tank chassis, it mounts twin 57mm cannons in an open-topped turret. The system entered service in 1955 and could fire 120 to 140 rounds per minute from each gun. The lack of radar limited its effectiveness against fast jets, but the firepower was absolutely devastating. North Vietnam used the ZSU-23-2 in combat starting in 1972, and it proved deadly in ambushes against low-flying American aircraft. The system really made its mark in the Yugoslav wars during the 1990s, where it was used extensively for direct fire support in urban combat. The twin 57mm guns could shred buildings and light vehicles, making it a fearsome weapon even when not shooting at aircraft. Iraqi forces still had some in service during the 2003 invasion. Gepard. Germany's Gepard represents the pinnacle of Cold War-era self-propelled anti-aircraft gun design. Based on the Leopard 1 tank chassis, the Gepard mounts twin 35mm Oerlikon cannons with a combined rate of fire of 1,100 rounds per minute. The system features both search and tracking radars, allowing it to detect and engage targets autonomously. The guns are fully stabilized, so the Gepard can fire accurately while moving. The Gepard never saw combat during the Cold War, but it's finally proving its worth in Ukraine. Germany supplied Gepard systems to Ukrainian forces in 2022, and they've been extremely effective against Iranian-made Shahed drones and cruise missiles. Ukrainian operators report that the Gepard is highly effective against low, slow targets, with single batteries credited with shooting down over 10 drones and 2 missiles. The system's radar can track multiple targets simultaneously, and the 35mm ahead ammunition creates a little cloud of fragments. Russia has reportedly made Gepards high-priority targets because they're so effective at protecting critical infrastructure. K30 Biho. South Korea developed the K30 Biho in the 1990s as an indigenous solution for mobile air defense. The system mounts twin 30mm autocannons on a tracked chassis with an integrated search and tracking radar. Each gun fires at 600 rounds per minute, and the system was later upgraded to also carry Shingongman portable missiles for extended range. The Biho has not seen combat, but has performed well in trials and exercises. Korkut. Turkey's Korkut system represents a modern take on self-propelled anti-aircraft artillery. Built on an armored vehicle chassis, each Korkut mounts twin 35mm guns that can fire ahead programmable ammunition. The system includes advanced radar and electro-optical sensors, and multiple Korkut vehicles network together with the command post vehicle. Turkish forces deployed Korkut units during operations in Syria starting in 2019, primarily as protection against drones. Qatar purchased Korkut batteries and used them to provide counter-drone coverage during the FIFA World Cup. The system is relatively new, but represents the current state-of-the-art in gun-based air defense. 2K22 Tunguska. Russia's 2K22 Tunguska takes a hybrid approach by combining twin 30mm autocannons with 8 surface-to-air missiles on a single-tracked chassis. The system entered service in 1982 and features both search and tracking radars. The guns fire at a combined rate of 2,500 rounds per minute and can engage targets out to 3 kilometers, while the missiles extend the engagement envelope to 8 kilometers. Iraqi Tunguska systems saw limited action during the Gulf War but were overwhelmed by coalition air power. Russia used Tunguska in Chechnya in 1999 and during the 2008 war with Georgia, where they reportedly shot down Georgian drones and provided cover against Su-25 ground attack jets. Russian forces have deployed Tunguska units in Ukraine, with some credited kills against Ukrainian drones and aircraft, though several have also been destroyed by Ukrainian strikes. India operates Tunguska systems but has not used them in combat. The hybrid gun and missile approach gives commanders flexibility, but the system is complex and expensive to maintain. Pantsir S1. The Pantsir S1 is Russia's modern successor to the Tunguska concept. Typically mounted on a truck chassis, it combines twin 30mm guns with 12 ready-to-fire missiles. The system features phased array radar and can engage 2 targets simultaneously. The guns fire at 2,500 rounds per minute, and the missiles reach out to 20 kilometers. Pantsir has seen extensive combat in Syria, where Russian forces use it to protect their bases. Israeli strikes have destroyed several Syrian-operated Pantsir systems, exposing vulnerabilities when the system is caught with its radar off or poorly positioned. In Libya during 2020, UAE-supplied Pantsir systems initially had success against Turkish drones, but many were later destroyed by airstrikes. Russian forces are using Pantsir in Ukraine to defend against HIMARS rockets and drones with mixed results. The system has racked up confirmed kills against drones and some missiles, but it's also suffered significant losses. Saudi Arabia deployed Pantsir on its southern border to counter Houthi drones. The 30mm guns make Pantsir cost-effective against cheap drones, since each burst costs only a few $100s compared to expensive missiles. PGZ-95. China's PGZ-95 mounts 4 25mm autocannons plus 4 infrared guided missiles on a tracked chassis. The system entered service in the late 1990s and includes a folding search radar. The guns fire at 600 rounds per minute each with an effective range around 2.5 kilometers. The PGZ-95 has not seen combat, but China has deployed units in Tibet and Xinjiang. The system represents China's approach to combining guns and missiles for layered defense. Pilika. Poland's Pilika system takes a different approach by using upgraded Zu-23 guns paired with Gromman portable missiles. Each Pilika battery consists of 6-toed gun and missile units, networked with a 3D radar and command post. The system entered service in 2020 and is designed to protect airbases and critical sites. Poland deployed Pilika units to its eastern border in 2022 as tensions rose over Ukraine. The system has detected and tracked drone incursions, but no combat engagements have been publicly reported. Pilika represents an economical solution by modernizing existing guns with new sensors and missiles. Centurion CRAM. The United States developed the Centurion CRAM by adapting the Navy's Phalanx close-in weapon system for land use. The system mounts a 20mm Gatling gun that fires at 4,500 rounds per minute, using self-destructing ammunition to reduce collateral damage. A radar detects incoming rockets and mortars, and the gun automatically engages them. Centurion proved itself in Iraq starting in 2005, when it began intercepting rockets and mortars aimed at US bases in Baghdad. The system achieved about a 70% kill rate against incoming projectiles. British forces used Centurion in Basra and later at Camp Bastion in Afghanistan, where it successfully shot down Taliban rockets. In August 2021, a Centurion at Kabul airport intercepted ISIS rockets during the evacuation. The US approved transfer of Centurion systems to Ukraine in 2023, marking the first time they'll be used in a high-intensity conventional war. Each interception costs only a few $1,000s in ammunition, making Centurion extremely cost-effective compared to missile-based systems. LD2000. China developed the LD2000 as a land-based version of its Type 730 naval close-in weapon system. The system mounts a 7-barrel 30mm Gatling gun on a truck with tracking radar and electro-optical sights. It can fire at rates up to 5,800 rounds per minute, and later variants at short-range missiles. The LD2K has not seen combat, but China has deployed similar systems around key installations. The system is designed to intercept cruise missiles and rockets at close range. Mantis. Germany's Mantis system uses 6 Oerlikon 35mm revolver guns networked with advanced sensors to provide base defense. Each gun fires at 1,000 rounds per minute using ahead programmable ammunition. The system is designed to detect and intercept incoming rockets, artillery shells, and mortar bombs. Germany deployed a Mantis battery to Afghanistan in 2014 to protect the NATO base at Mazar-e Sharif, though the guns were never fired in combat. Germany donated both of its Mantis systems to Slovakia in 2023 to bolster NATO's eastern flank. Skynex. Rheinmetall's Skynex is the newest evolution of networked gun-based air defense. The system uses 4 truck-mounted 35mm revolver guns linked wirelessly to an advanced radar and command node. Each gun fires ahead programmable ammunition at 1,000 rounds per minute. Qatar purchased Skynex systems and deployed them for security during the 2022 World Cup. Germany funded 2 Skynex batteries for Ukraine worth about 182 million euros, with deliveries in early 2024. Ukrainian forces are reportedly using Skynex to defend critical infrastructure, with unconfirmed reports of successful intercepts against Shahed drones and cruise missiles. Italy ordered 4 Skynex batteries in January 2025. Type 87. Japan's Type 87 mounts twin 35mm Oerlikon cannons on a modified Type 74 tank chassis. The system entered service in 1987 and features integrated search and tracking radars. Only 52 units were produced due to high costs. The Type 87 has never seen combat, as Japan's self-defense forces have not engaged in war since its introduction. The system remains in service protecting Japanese air bases and represents Japan's domestic approach to mobile air defense.